a couple of notes on how I know when people come to me. Because a lot of times people do come to me and they're wondering like, hey, Angelique, is this going to work? Is this something that people will actually buy in the online space? And so I have to do a little bit of research, okay? First, we look at the data just to make sure, is it hitting some key performance indicators, some KPIs in some regards. Like, is the course that you're talking about? Sometimes people come to me and it's not a good course. It's not one that I'm all about creating courses that, make an impact. People are going to buy, that help you make money. So that's what I'm about doing. So I think it's great when people just want to create a course just for the fun of it. I have helped some clients do that. But the bulk of my clients are looking to make money from what they know, what they already know. I specialize in that. If you didn't know, Angelic Marnier, I specialize in taking whatever you already know, whatever you're great at. If you're a great mom, if you're a great, caterer, if you are a great accountant, if you're a great lawyer, if you're a great doctor, if you're a great, orchestra conductor, like these are the people that I work with, and we create online courses. So let's jump into it. I have 6 key points that I want to go over. So when you, maybe when you meet with me or before, but I'd love for you to go through this checklist when you're looking at your course or whatever your digital product is. I'd love for you to go through this checklist. Let's just see if you're hitting these key indicators. Okay. So the first one, does it solve an issue? Okay, you guys, I get a lot of people who come to me with all kind of courses, but they don't solve an issue. People, when they're looking for a course or for a digital product, an ebook or whatever, they're looking for the how-tos, how to do something. So if your course is just on, you talking and you giving people opinions or stuff like that, that might not do too well. We really need to make sure that we are creating something that is helping with a particular issue. Whether it is, obesity. I have one client who was doing one showing people's kids. So it's really showing the parents how to help the kids get over obesity. But it really needs to make sure, I'm big on this, right? You have to have a pain point. And then once the pain point is addressed, we have to, in the course or the digital product, let's address what the pain point is. So you guys, it is very key. When you're coming out in the digital space, please make sure there is an issue that you're solving. That's what people are buying right now. People need help with, like I said, I have a client who's helping people with their children who have obesity. I have another client who's helping people with their resumes. That's a big one right now. So many people are in influx right now. We know what happened with the tech industry, but other places are also having issues with, job retainment. Let's just say that. So if you can create a course that shows people how to keep their job, that's a good one. That's a good one, actually. Like, what can you do to keep your job? Who do you need to talk to? Who do you need to network with? Do you need to stay later in hours? Do you need to show up to the golf tournament? Like, what do you need to do to, so that would be a good course, right? Because that's something that people need help with. People need help with all kinds of things, alopecia and, cholesterol and how to retire early and how to do crypto. Like, you guys, all these things that you guys are great at, how to write your first book, you guys, these are the types of things people need help with. So when you are coming up with, hey, Angelique, I'm thinking about creating a digital course. I'm thinking about creating a blog. I'm thinking about, well, first and foremost, I need you to be able to check the list. Does it solve a pain point? Is there an issue that your particular product is going to solve? Let's make sure that's key, you guys. Make sure you write that down. The next thing, also kind of in the same lines, but is there a gap in the market? I was talking to somebody today and they were talking about there's a gap in the market with regards to, autism and, or serving people, like even people who are blind, like underrepresented categories. You guys, this is a gap in the market. These are things that are gaps in the market. Does your online digital product, does it fulfill that? Is that gap in the market something that's missing? We saw, back in the day or maybe 10 or 15 years ago or whatever, there was a gap in the market for like curly hair. Well, what did people do? You had Carol's Daughter and Mixed Chicks and stuff like that. They filled that gap in the market. Now there's a lot of different products that we know and love. But in the beginning, there wasn't, a few years ago, there wasn't anything. They came in and they filled that. Okay, you guys? So something to think about. You might have something that fills a gap. Bring it to the market. That's when you know. So can you check that box? So first, does it solve a pressing issue? Second, is there something in the market that is missing right now? Let's figure that out. In order to figure out if you've got something that people are going to buy, It needs to be something that people are chattering about in the online space. That is how you know. So you need to go on search sites like Reddit, Reddit. Type in your thing, autism or hearing impaired. Are people chatting about that? Domestic violence. Like I said, curly hair, food trucks. Like, are people talking about it, or is it radio silent? If nobody's chatting about it, you guys, that's an indicator that it's either faded, it's fizzled, and you might not have a market. We're in this to sell digital products, right? So you go into Google and see if there's only, 1 or 2 pages on people talking about this, that's not the one to go for. Go to Google Trends, you guys, and really see, is this something that's trending? It's going to show you if it's a lot of people, if it's at 100%, it's doing really, really well. If it's at 50% or if it's going down, you can see that. And that's how you know if you've got something that people are actually going to buy. That only makes sense. Go into Google Trends, okay? You guys, you got to figure out if nobody's talking about it, if you have a course or a digital product on something and nobody's talking about it, that's your indicator, your key indicator that you might not want to try to put your efforts into that because people aren't going to buy. So Reddit, Quora, Facebook groups, and Google Trends or Google in and of itself, great way to see if there's chatter. A lot of chatter, there's money there, okay? Also, this is key, another thing, to know if your product is going to do well in the online space, you guys, can your audience afford the product? And, we can't count anybody's money, but if you are trying to help a certain subset and you know what their budgets typically are, say that you are helping, people that are at, lower tier job scales or minimum wage, maybe you're helping them get into middle management. Well, their income sector, that they're not making that much money. So don't price them out of the market. Like if you have a, $60,000 product, they might not be able to they don't even make that in a whole year. So this is how you're going to know if people are going to buy it is because they can afford it. Now, if you have something like a retreat in Bali, and you're talking to CEOs who need to take a breather or CEOs who are working on mindset, well, we know, you probably can charge $60,000, and they will buy, right? Because you got the right target market. And if you don't price it correctly and you price it at 5,000, where they're gonna be like, I don't want that. That's too low for me. Obviously, I want luxury. So you got to figure out, in order to figure out if you're going to do really well in the online space, you got to figure out where is your target market and how much can they pay. Teenagers, don't price it too high or price it to where their parents can afford it. So maybe you show, teenagers how to get into golf, or maybe you show teenagers how to have a wealthy mindset. Well, I would say market towards their parents, because if you market to them, then you've got to bring that price point down low, right? Because typically kids don't have that much money. So just something to think about. If you are, targeting maybe, I don't know, you want to help, you have a course or something for the homeless. Well, instead, you can't price that too high because they don't have too much money. But what you could do, and this is a tip, you could actually sell to organizations who help the homeless, sell the product to them because they got big bucks. So that's just something to think about. But really, if you want to do really well in the online space, you got to figure out where your audience and what they don't price them out or go too low. If you have a luxury product or something like that, don't price too low so you got to know how to price, okay? Can your audience afford it? That's a big one. And then the last two, a lot of times people say, well, Angelique, my target, what I want to do is weight loss, or I want to do crypto, but it's so saturated. You guys, this is how you know it's going to sell. If it's saturated. And I know nobody wants to believe me on that, but if you get into a sector that is saturated, it's money. You know why? Because a lot of people are buying, and some people have tried other things and they didn't work, but they still need the help, right? Why do you think weight loss does so well? Because people have tried other things and it's a pain point. Like I said, there's a gap in the market. People are talking about it, like all these things. That's why weight loss does so well. And they tried other things, but they haven't tried your course or your ebook or your blog or your website yet. So you guys just show them, like you really got to think. Don't think because it's saturated. All you got to do is bring your swag. Bring your smile. Nobody's seen your smile before. Nobody knows your story. Bring your story of how you went on this weight loss journey and you've been trying so many other things. I had talked to somebody just the other day in New Zealand. It's like, for the last 12 years, I've been trying to drop these 30 pounds. Nothing's been successful. I got with this new coach and bam, I'm already down, 12 pounds. I've got 8 more to go. Like, you guys, this is the thing. If something is saturated, there's tons. When we look up, when I go down the cereal aisle, there's tons of cereal. But you know what? There's new cereals coming in. One that's vegan, vegan, one that's sugar-free, one that has blueberries, now one that no longer has blueberries, but now it's got cranberries. Like, people come out with new stuff all the time, and they do well. You know, there's different tennis shoes out there. There's more than just Nike and Reebok and Adidas. There's plenty of these Hoka ones. I see all kind of shoes. New Balance. People don't, just because something is saturated or you think somebody has the market on lock, no, you come in and you solve a pain point. Something about the arch in your shoe, or something about, people just like that it has a red bottom. What about that? That was something that was missing in the market. People wanted to be able to distinguish, not because I can't see the inside of the shoe, so I can see the outside, and I know that it has a red bottom. I know it's expensive. Like, you got to get creative, okay? But this is how you know. So don't, just because if something is saturated, that's how you know it's going to do well. Just come in with your swag, your smile, your story, your accent, whatever it is, just bring the zhuzh, bring the love, okay? And then last but not least, if you want to know, and a lot of people don't want to do this step, but it's the step that I took when I first came out with my first course. If you want to know if your product is going to do well in the online space, it's just ask. Ask your friends who have curly hair. Ask your friends who want to get out of their 9-to-5 job. Ask your friends who are caterers, what they need help with. I'm telling you, it helps. Or take somebody to lunch. Take them to coffee. It doesn't take a survey. You could do a survey or a poll in your stories or on Instagram. You guys, this is how you find out if you got something. Before you spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of effort, track these things. Like, I can save you a lot of time because I did the work, right? So again, you guys, this is how you're going to know. This is how you're going to know if you got something in the online space that's actually going to make you money, going to create an impact for you, and really, build that legacy that a lot of you guys want. So just to recap, how do you know if you're going to have something successful in the online space? You got to have something that solves a pain point. It has to solve a pressing issue, whether it's, helping people with divorce, helping people who are overweight, helping people with stocks and bonds, helping people get to their next job, helping people find a job, helping people with their resume, helping people get into a relationship, helping people with their marriage, helping people connect with their kids, how to have a baby, how to potty train, how to have a puppy. Like, it's got to be something like that, okay? Also, is there a gap in the market? Is there something missing? Right? At one point in time, like I got this water bottle, right? At one point in time, we all just had water bottles and they didn't cool or they didn't heat. Now you got these and they cool, they heat. Like, that was something missing in the market. Now we all have those because we want our stuff either cold or hot. We didn't have those 10 years ago. Then they came with this like insulated type thing, and that's all we use now, right? But there was a gap in the market. Figure out that gap in the market. When you're coming in, figure that out. Are people talking about it? Are people on Google, go to Google Trends, like I told you guys. See, are people talking about it? Go to Reddit, go to Quora, look in Facebook groups. What are people chattering about? If there's a whole lot of chatter, there's a whole lot of money, okay? Whole lot of money, honey. And then, can your target audience afford you? That's how you're going to know if you're going to do well, is if you price it right. And if you're going to do well if your particular audience can afford it, okay? So that's how you know. Make sure you price it correctly. If you need some help with pricing, holler at your girl. I'll help you with that. Also, if you got an area that is saturated, there's money in there, y'all. I know that you don't think so, but I'm telling you guys, the reason that the wealth space does so well is because so many people have tried crypto. So many people have tried stocks and bonds. So many people have tried to get out of their 9-to-5. So many people have tried to do real estate and flipping houses and all this stuff. Make sure you got a pressing issue, something missing in the market. Is there chatter in the market? Make sure people can afford you. Not saying you have to be cheap or anything like that, but just depending on who your target market is, make sure it's within their range. If you got something that's saturated, just come with your area of differentiation. Come with something new. Come to something, a little bit controversial to where people are like, that's not true. And then you show them how it is true. That's how you're going to make it in a saturated market. But if something is saturated, that's how you know you're going to do well. There's plenty of money there. Other people do courses and digital stuff. There was a lot of money there. I got in there, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to succeed at that. So don't let that discourage you. Let that encourage you. A lot of people, it's a lot of money. A lot of cereals out there, a lot of, different genes out there, but people come into the market and just crush it. Why? They figure out a pain point and they monetize that. I'll be honest with you guys. And last but not least, if you want to know if your product will do well in the online market, just ask. Ask experts, ask mentors, ask your friends, ask your family, do a survey, take people to lunch, find out the information. It's right there in front of you. If you don't have, if you're not very digital or whatever, this is an easy way, something that I did when I first got into the online space to make sure that what I was going to sell was going to work. is I want to ask people in my target market. Okay,